So many times I get asked, have you ever thought about what your life would have been if, for example, those that knew that I was the youngest employee at the Federal Reserve Bank at the age of 17? So they ask, have you ever imagined what your life would have been if you had decided to stay at the bank? Or have you ever imagined what your life had been had you not joined a drug cartel? Have you ever imagined what your life would have been if I had not married that woman? Have you ever imagined what your life would have been if? And that's how we spend a lot of our lives. We spend our times asking and wondering, what if I had not done that? Or what if I had made a different choice? Or what if I had, would I have been happy if I married another woman? Would I have been happy if I married the love of my life? Would I have been happy if I had left my wife? What if and what if and what if? And that's how we live in the world. I tell my children, don't ever live with what if. What if is insignificant? The truth of the matter is that the reason that it's insignificant is not because if we made a bad choice, probably would have been better to make a better choice. No, the truth of the matter is that what if, we're never going to know that what if. See, to constantly ask ourselves, what if I had done this or that, is simply to live in the past. It's not going to make things better. It's not going to change the outcome. And at the end of the day, do we really know that things would have turned out better for us? We don't know. So if we don't know and we will never know, why waste our life wondering what if? What instead we ask ourselves, what do I do with this? So therefore, for example, with me, I never ask myself, what if I had never decided to join a drug cartel? What would my life have been like? I don't care. It's insignificant because I did join a drug cartel. So instead of living in the past, on something that will never ever come back, I will never have a chance to make that choice again. Therefore, I ask myself, what do I do with that situation and that choice I made? So for example, for me, I can never erase the fact that I'm a twice convicted drug dealer. I can never erase the fact that I am twice divorced. I can never erase the fact that, I spent 10 years of my children's life in jail. So I don't ask myself, what if? What would have happened with my children if I had not gone to jail? What would happen to my children if I had stayed with their mother? All of that is insignificant. What is significant is that here I am now. So what I teach my children is that whenever you get to a point that you made a decision, you start wondering if you made the right or wrong decision because things might not have turned out just right, then what you need to tell yourself is, what do I do with this? So therefore, I was divorced. And my children, by the time my oldest son was 13, I was in jail for 10 years. By the time my oldest daughter was 8 and the other one 7 and 5, I have been in jail 5 years. So instead of asking myself what would have happened if I had not gone to jail, I tell myself, okay, what do I do with this situation? How do I make my life better? How do I change my mindset? How do I grow a different mindset that doesn't live in the past but lives in the present? How do I develop a mindset that learns from the mistakes I have made in the past? See, I don't consider things failure. I never looked at my life as a failure. The truth of the matter is that every situation that I've lived through is not a failure to me. It's a different opportunity to learn. So when I went to prison, instead of wondering what if I had done something different, I wouldn't be in prison. No, I said to myself, so what do I do now? Well, number one, I want to come out of this jail sentence a better person. I want to be a different man. And I am in prison. There's nothing I can do about changing my situation so that my children, I can be next to my children. So what did I do? I made sure that my parents or my brother, who is my true hero, ended up bringing my children as many times as they could to visit me. And I called them constantly. And I wrote letters to them constantly. And I did hobby crafts in prison. So they knew that their father loved them. And the time they would come to visit me, I would spend 6 hours in the visiting room with them all the time, giving them my love. And I know that they suffer, and I did too. But you know what? I did the best that I could with the situation I found myself under. And that's what you need to do in life. If you have made horrible choices in your life, you're not defined by those choices. You only define by the choices if you allow it. See, you have the power to be changed. You have the power to reinvent yourself. You have the power to be a different person. So don't ever live with what if. Ask yourself, what do I do with this? What do I do with the situation I find myself in? How do I learn from what I consider to have been a mistake? Or how do I learn from something that had a different outcome than I imagined? How do I change that future so that that same outcome does not occur again? And then at the end of the day, you become a better person. See, I am a better person not because I was a drug dealer, but I am the summation of all my parts. I am the sum of everything that I have lived. So therefore, I can advise young people that are on the road, the wrong road. I can advise them on how to make different choices. I can send my books to prison so that an inmate sitting there hopeless, wondering like, what am I going to do with my life? There's nothing else that I can do with my life when I get out of here but go back to dealing drugs or gangbanging. They can see that there was a Jorge Valdes that changed his life and reinvented himself. And yeah, I suffered. And yeah, I wasn't making $1 million a month. And yeah, I cleaned floors and toilets and took poop out of people's houses and cleaned burned houses. I did whatever I had to do, support my family, because see, there's no dishonor in any job. The only dishonor to me is not bringing home a paycheck to help support and feed my family. There's no dishonor in being a janitor, plumber, and being someone that just cleans toilets and scrubs shit out of the toilet. No dishonor in that. Dishonor is in sitting home and not bringing a check and seeing my family suffer. That's the dishonor. There's no dishonor in working at McDonald's or a fast food. We do whatever we have to do so that we can create a better world for our children. And then you say to yourself, well, but making $10, $15 an hour doesn't create a better world. It does. If they didn't eat yesterday, and also because of that $15 an hour they eat today, it is a better world for them. But above all, it becomes a better world because you show them that you were willing to do whatever it took to do. And see, I've taught my children, this is very important. Do what others will not do so you get to do what others cannot do. See, you play now, you're going to pay forever. But if you pay now, you play for a long time. And that's the life that I lived. I'm a proven example. I walked out of prison twice, convicted drug dealer at the age of 40, dead broke, knowing that no one would hire me. But I reinvented myself. I ended up earning a Ph.D. and later on I built a multi-million-dollar business. But that business did not start that. I can tell you times when we went hungry, my wife and I. I can tell you times that I didn't know how to pay for the bills. How much we struggled to make payroll. And thank God we made payroll every week. It was tough. And there was a lot of doubt. But never was a doubt, never did it cross my mind, what if I go back to dealing drugs? See, I knew one thing. I learned from that mistake. I wasn't going back there anymore. That was just not even an option. That was not even a choice. That would not even cross my radar. What crossed my radar is, if this is what I got to do the rest of my life, be a janitor, fine, I will be. It doesn't matter. Because I'll be the best janitor in the world. And I'll bust my ass so that I can get promoted. And especially in today's world, where people don't want to work. Think about that. I don't want to tell you how many people over and over again, employers tell me they just can't find employees. And it's not about because the minimum wage was horrific and was a crime. No, it doesn't matter what people pay now. People just don't want to work. Because people were more comfortable collecting a welfare check or an unemployment check. Listen, there's people that need a welfare check. There's mothers that have been abandoned by their husband and have various kids and need that help. Or people that have physical challenges. There is many, and I thank God we live in a country that has that. There's countries that don't even have that escape. But there's a lot of people that can work and get up and rather stay home and be lazy and be a bum. Sad. It's sad. My father was a millionaire in Cuba and came to the United States to clean toilets at J.C. Penney's. Never complained at the age of 40 with 3 children. Little children, 10, 9, and 5. Didn't complain. Did whatever he had to do. And then when he realized he couldn't feed his family with that, took a job washing dishes. You know why washing dishes? Because he took a baggie. And at night, as people would leave pieces of meat on the plate, he would bring them home. And he would tell us, once we heat them up, all the germs die. And it didn't matter. We were hungry. And we were thankful. And my father refused to collect food stamps because he felt that food stamp was for poor people. We were not poor in his eyes. And he taught me that. We just did not have any money. See, it's the difference between that. It's the mindset. If I am poor and I tell myself that I am poor, I might be enslaved to that thought. But if I tell myself that I just don't have money, then I get my ass up and go to work and go hustle and do whatever I need to do legally and legitimately so I can bring $1 home to my family. See, that's the mindset that I want people to create. A strong mindset. Not a mindset that lives with what if, poor little me. No, a mindset that says it doesn't matter the mistakes I have made or the wrong choices that I believe I have made. I can be better. I was created perfect and I can do anything I need to do. That's what I want you to learn. So don't live with what if, and tell your children not to either. Tell them to simply, when they make mistakes, don't think about the past. Think about the future. We can change that mistake. We can learn from it. Many times, some of the greatest lessons in life that people have learned are a result of mistakes that they have made. So that's my thought for you today, my brothers and sisters. Not what if, what do I do with this? Be blessed.